Hello and welcome to today's video. I'm going to be taking a look at my favourite version of the Hyaku-Shiki, and that is the Hyaku-Shiki V2 in Master Grade. So let's go on and have a little look at what we get in the box. Okay, so with this one we don't get a lot of extras. We get the two weapons, the bazooka, the rifle, as you can see already attached onto the mobile suit. We get the two beam saber effect parts. We get one base stand adapter. We actually get two Quattro figures and one seating Quattro. Okay, so first off, I didn't really do too much with this kit. I just used some Molotov chrome pen just to go over some details, and that's really about it. I did go over some of the areas with a matte coat, but that was only on some of the non-gold sections. And so as you can see, it's a really nice gold finish on this one. I much prefer this to some of the others. It's got that sort of not quite real shiny gold. It's just the slightly matted, and there isn't that many number marks that can be spotted on this kit either, which is really nice and makes this a really enjoyable kit to build. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the articulation points for this one. So starting off with the head, moves back, forward, and can turn all the way around, but it's not the easiest. You've got to manipulate the position, and then you can remove the top section here, and you can actually swap out the different eyes. Should be able to see there. So you can have the different eyes attached onto this one as well. So pop that back down. I will say have to be quite careful with the antenna. It is prone to breaking. I've managed to break this one about 3 times so far. I do have a spare one, which this kit comes with, which is really good, and at some point I will actually swap it out for that one. Okay, so then let's move on to the shoulders. So the shoulders move separately up here, and then you've got another section here which opens and closes, so you can maneuver that around just to hide the inside detail inside there. The actual joint moves out quite a bit, and that will just allow you to bring the arms in and out. With it still out, easy to show, so you get your full rotation at the top of the arm will rotate, and then you have your elbow bend, which comes up really nicely. And then on the wrist, or just before the wrist, you've got a little bit of movement up and down, if you can see that, and then you have your ball joint on your hand as well. As with this one, this is the separate hat fingers with the little tab inside that you flip out to attach the weapons. So onto the torso, you get reasonable movement forward and a fair bit back. Move this out of the way so you can see. Then you have, for this one, the waist is actually part of the pivot, so it can pivot to the side and side quite a bit. Now just lead on to the side skirts, which are actually attached, you can see, and these are on a little bit of a ball joint, and these can just flip up quite a bit out of the way and rotate to the sides and to the front. Then you have the front skirting, and that's just a simple little tab. There isn't much movement, just flips up and back down again. And then onto the back, here it's a single piece which just flips out, back in again, and there you have the beam sabers equipped to the back there. So if I just move these out of the way and move on to the legs. So we'll start off at the actual joint. So it's got a nice sort of moving gimmick. So move these out of the way. So the leg will actually flip down, so I'll just do that again. Out and down. Just gives a little bit extra movement. It just minds that you have to be quite careful when you're rotating the joints now, because as you moved it down, the angle's changed a bit. So then the leg itself will spin all the way around, and then you can get the leg quite high, and then you can lower it down and then position it up and you can get it even higher. And that'll be the same for the back as well. Then in its normal state it will go back about there, so it's about the same really. It's the rear skirting kind of blocks that a little bit. So then onto the rest of the legs, you have your knee bend here, and that doubles up nicely and fits right in, so a lot of it actually molds in with the shape of the armour. And then onto the back you have a little flap here which just lifts up and down, and then onto the actual ankle section. This has got a couple of movements. So you've got first movement, which you can see the piston moving in and out, and then you've got on the actual ball joint of the foot will rotate all the way down, and then the toes have a nice sort of a fold back, so it gives a very sleek sort of leg profile. That can go back, and then you can really manipulate those joints quite nicely. And for the side to side, that is mainly done with the rotation on the side, and then you can then just tilt the foot. But normally be that to that. Now just pop all these back down. Fold the arms back in. Let's take a look at some of the weapons and the backpack. So we'll start off with the bazooka. So it's quite a simple piece, this one. It's not really, it's all one piece of plastic really on this one, so it hasn't got a lot. You do have one bit you can slide out, which will show the magazine and the ammo inside, and then just pop that back in. And then you've got your little peg here, which you can then use for attaching it into the hands. And then this section here will clip into the backpack. And the beam rifle, a little bit more interesting on this one. You've got a few different colours, so it makes it stand out a little bit. And then for some of the moving parts on this one, the grip will fold away, and then you've got a little bit here which you can just pull out, and then that will allow you to attach it onto the backpack as well. And there you have the green sensor on the front. It's just a sticker, there's no clear plastic in front of that one or anything. And now just moving on to the backpack. So with the backpack you've got a nice few bits of movement. So start with the little thrusters. So these have a little bit of movement up and down. Same on both sides. And then with the binders themselves, so we'll start off at the front. So they pull in and lock back there, and then they will rotate all the way around, and then they're on another joint, so you can spin them quite a nicely bit around. And then you have your side binders as well, which will fold it backwards like this, and that is the same on both sides. So now I'm just going to attach on the backpack. So it's a nice simple solid connection, just slots in just like that, and that's it. And then, as I was saying, with these connections here for the backpack, just move these out of the way a little bit. So you have these little pegs there, and these just slot in, one there, and then the same on the other side, like that. Okay, so if you want to equip the weapons, so we'll just pop them off of the back, and then with the rifle, just want to fold this out of the way, pull this bit back out, make sure the peg is out, and then we'll just hold the hand out open out all the fingers, and there you have your peg attached in there, and there's the thumb coming out, and then this will slot in with the two pegs, and then just close up the fingers over it again. Now show you with the bazooka, which is pretty much the same again. So make sure the peg is out. You have got a little bit of extra movement here that I forgot to mention, because that just folds away, and then this will, and here it's a little bit more awkward for this one, just for the shape of it. And that's it, equipped with the bazooka there. So just take these back off and unpop this again, just like that. Okay, so let's wrap this up with some final thoughts. So overall, this has been really incredible kit to build. The gold is so striking with this. Definitely my favourite version of the Hyaku-Shiki. There's only a few little bits which I'm a little bit disappointed with, and that'll be the weapons. They probably could have done a little bit more just to make them stand out a little bit, especially with the bazooka. That one just seems more like it was a bit more of an afterthought, and doesn't really stand out in the same way. Definitely think though adding in the extra details with the chrome just helped just to make it stand out a little bit, so I'm glad I actually went through with that part of it. For panel lining, doesn't really need too much really, because the gold sort of really shines and shows off a lot of the detail itself, so it's just really on some of the blue sections, and for the piping, which I might just go back and do at a later date. The most annoying weak point is the antenna on the head, and I'm really glad the kit gives you two of those, just in case you do break one like I have, that you can just swap them out, and it is quite relatively easy to do. Manoeuvring the head, you often find you will pop the top of the head off quite a bit, as it's quite slippery and it's a very sort of slight connection. It won't fall out when you're moving it, but when you intentionally try to adjust the head angle, you might just lift it up a bit, but that's not too much of an issue really. So there you have it. There is the Hyaku-Shiki Master Grade version 2. Hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you again next time.